Hi, I'm Shane.
And I'm Miranda, or Chicky. Welcome to our big adventure through Western Canada.
On this epic journey, we set out on what has been described as the most beautiful road in the world, the Icefield Parkway.
We arrive at the famous mountain town of Banff in the national park that bears the same name. Here we explore its stunning surroundings and immerse ourselves in its Rocky Mountain culture.
We cool off by pristine alpine lakes and rivers in the area, take in magnificent vistas, and wander through rocky canyons.
Visit some of the world-famous lakes this national park is known for, and undertake a hike of epic proportions into the high rocky peaks above.
Departing Banff, we stop at Yoho National Park, where we view one of the highest waterfalls in Canada and visit a lake that entrances like an emerald.
As a finale, we return to Vancouver, where we meet with friends and view the most spectacular fireworks we've ever witnessed. Join us for this adventure and more on Global Travel Stories.
We continue from our previous episode, where we depart Jasper National Park. Alrighty, we're at our second stop on the Icefield Parkway. Miranda's already run down. We're at Athabasca Falls. I've actually visited here before as well. This was back in my first trip along the Icefield Parkway in 2014. In fact, I think it's 4 or 5 times I've done this now. I did actually live in Banff for almost a year, on and off for almost a year, back in 2015, 2016. So a lot of what we're going to be doing over the next couple of days are me taking Miranda to some of my favorite spots, and also a couple of things I didn't get to do when I lived here. The approximate 4-hour drive between Jasper and Banff, or vice versa, is known as the Icefield Parkway. It is widely considered one of the most beautiful drives on Earth. With a full day to spare, we make the most of this magnificent stretch of road by taking our time to enjoy many of the sights along the way.
The drive consists of spectacular vistas, peaks of epic grandeur, turquoise alpine lakes, and accessible ice fields and glaciers. We're at the Columbia Icefield, about to walk to the toe of the Athabasca Glacier.
So it's been about 8 years since I've stopped here at the Athabasca Glacier, and I can already see noticeable differences compared to the photographs I took back in 2014. Looking at all the signs, you can see the points in which the glacier has been melting over time, and what we're walking on right now is essentially a moraine. It's where the glacier once was, probably only a few decades ago. It has been disappearing since 1864, so they have been monitoring its retreat since then, but in recent years that retreat has been speeding up, at alarming rates, and that is purely due to the climate warming. These sorts of places are the places that we're going to miss out on in future generations. Sad thing is the effects that it has on the ecosystem and on the animals that depend on these glacial meltwaters.
We've just started the Wilcox Pass hike, and we're going to go up to get some really good views of Athabasca Glacier and Dome Glacier, and we might go all the way to the end, or we may stop at the Adirondack chairs. I think it depends how long we take.
How are those views?
Spectacular.
Absolutely amazing. These are some Adirondack chairs worth taking photos on. Stunning. You'll find them throughout all the parks in Canada, and some people like to sort of get their photo on all of them and collect them all, sort of thing. That is definitely worth stopping for. We do have to go down from here, unfortunately. We're not going to the top of the pass because we're less than halfway on the Icefield Parkway and it's almost 4 o'clock. So we've got a lot of stops to do. We're really just hoping that we'll get to our campground by dark. And when I say dark this time of the year, mid-July, is probably around 10 p.m. So that's what we're aiming for at this stage. It'd be nice to get there with a little light. So we'll head down now and see some more awesome views of the Icefield Parkway. We made a brief stop along the way for a quick bite to eat on the border of Jasper and Banff National Parks.
The Rocky Mountains sit on an edge of two ancient tectonic plates. The North American part of the range is the only mountain range in the Northern Hemisphere that runs true north to south. However, they are part of an extended mountain chain that continues down to Central America and crosses continental plates, meeting with the Andes in South America. This makes them part of the longest continual mountain range in the world.
So that was the amazing Peyto Lake, and we are now heading to Bow Lake. And then after that, Crowfoot Glacier, which kind of looks like a crowfoot. As golden hour approached, we made our way to the town of Banff and up to our campground on Tunnel Mountain. So that up there is Mount Rundle, I actually climbed that mountain back in 2014 with my friend Max on his birthday, and we set up there with a beer from Bow Valley Brewery that was called the Rundlestone beer and had a picture of that mountain up there, and it was a great accomplishment. It's a really beautiful mountain and quite a challenge to get to the top as well. Here's the Chickie testing out our new marshmallow cooker. It's got a little twist thing too, so you can twist it and rotate them. So we are heading down into Banff today, and Banff is one of my old hometowns. I lived here back in 2015 and 2016. 2015 I was up at the Sunshine Ski Resort working the ski season up there, and I ended up going home a little bit early actually. As we mentioned with Rawley a little bit earlier, I went out to visit him in Kelowna and broke my femur in Big White. So I ended up going back to Australia for a few months and decided to come back here for the summer and worked just down the road here at the Hostelling International, and it essentially was my place to pretty much recover my leg injury or my broken femur. It's a bit more than an injury. Yeah, it took a few months, but by the end we were climbing some of these biggest mountains that you see in the area here. So this essentially is my backyard. I know the area really, really well. We're actually going to take the long way down into the town centre today. We're going to go down via the Bow River, via the Hoodoos, and via Fairmont Springs, Banff Springs. So it's a little bit of a long cut, but it's a beautiful little forested area with a lovely glacial river that we'll go via, and pretty much every time I've been down there I've spotted wildlife. I even saw a wolf down there once, which was really, really cool. So we've actually got our bear spray and we've got our bear bells as well, because there are bears roaming around this area too. So we'd get in our tubes from the Fairmont and basically tube all the way down the river to this field here and make our way back up to where we lived. It's pretty cool. Maybe at some stage I might post all the videos from when I lived here, because there are some awesome adventures that we undertook here, but there's just so much to catch up on. But if you are interested in seeing some of those videos, let us know in the comments and maybe I'll get around to it. So that was the Hoodoos Trail. What did you think, Miranda?
Oh, it was lovely.
Yeah.
Loved the river, following the river along the way.
Stunning, stunning. It's even better if you ever get a chance to do it on a tube. No animals, unfortunately, no wildlife. I kind of noticed that it was a lot more popular than it used to be when I was living here years and years ago. You might see a handful of people on the trail, but we passed several groups, and maybe that's the reason why there's not so much wildlife on there. It's hard to tell. But we're about to do the Bow Falls Trail now, and that's going to lead us into town. So the Bow Falls are actually directly below us. I can hear them right now. We'll head into town from there. They sort of sit below the Fairmont, which is the big chateau, the big castle-like building. A very, very famous hotel here in Banff. I was lucky enough in 2013 to spend Christmas here with my family, which was pretty cool. We'll head into town and we'll get that iconic shot of Banff Township with the beautiful Cascade Mountain in the background. what has changed? Everything. Right now, this would not have been a walking strip. This was all for cars, and it looks like it's just for cycling and walking and public transit, and that's pretty much it. A whole bunch of new buildings and restaurants and shops, so let's explore the new Banff. This is an exploration for me too. Alright, so this is the traditional fudge store here in Banff. 1976. Look at all the stuff they got, Miranda. Smell it. I told you. This one's really good. The Reese's. Good to get the bear claws and stuff here. So that mountain right up there, that is Cascade Mountain, and I did mention earlier that I came back here to Banff in the summer after I'd broken my leg. As a form of recovery, I started hiking around the mountains and lakes in this area, and eventually I worked my way up to that one there. And that's where, this is really where my love for proper hiking, mountain hiking, really started. That's right, Banff Ave Brewing Co. This is my favourite brewery when I lived here, so I'm gonna get the beer. So Rose and Crown, this is their new rooftop patio. What do you think, Cheeky? Pretty cool?
Beautiful day for it.
Oh, that place to spend the afternoon. So we're at Cascade Ponds here in Banff, about to have our Tim Hortons. So we're gonna have a little bit of lunch and then we'll explore some of the different lakes in the area. Last time I came here to Cascade Ponds, the whole area was being landscaped, so there was no water in the area at all. It's kind of different to see it like this. It's really cool actually. It's like a idyllic little sort of spot, so a great spot for picnics. They've got barbecue areas everywhere as well. After this we're heading to Tujack Lake, Lake Minnewanka, and Johnston Lake as well, and then maybe later on in the day we'll stop off at the Vermilion Lakes and go for a walk through Fenlands. This really is such a beautiful place. What do you think, Cheeky?
Stunning.
She's enjoying the ground squirrels while we're having lunch, sort of scurrying around.
I can watch them all day.
She loves them. So we're going to have a little bit of a roam around Cascade Ponds before we go to our next lake. Lake day, Cheeky. Lake day. It's nice warm too. I think it's about 26, 27 degrees Celsius today, so good day for a lake day, I think. Alright, so this is glacial fed water, but it's way too tempting not to. Ooh. Ooh. Holy, that is cold. So we're down here at Tujack Lake, and this is one of my favorite lakes to go kayaking. Now, unfortunately, we don't have any kayaking or paddleboard equipment, but still a really beautiful place to check out. We're gonna chill out here for a little bit before we head on to Lake Minnewanka. So we're here on Lake Minnewanka, which is actually a man-made reservoir. It's 28 kilometers long, and where I used to live up at the HI hostel in Tunnel Mountain, we used to actually stay in a train station that used to be in a village that was down in this lake, which is pretty cool, before they flooded it.
We are now just walking towards one of the first bays in Lake Minnewanka, and any further hiking you would have to do in a group of 4, and no 2 people can be further than 3 meters from each other, and have to carry bear spray at all times due to this being grizzly bear territory from July to September. So bear encounters are likely, but we'll see. There's a lot of people out and about, and we don't plan on going on the hiking trails. So yeah.
Yeah, Lake Minnewanka is known for grizzly bears specifically. So yeah, we're going to chill out here in one of the first bays and take it easy. Probably the quickest way to jump in. Woo! Now this is where I'm going to relax.
From Lake Minnewanka, we headed up to an epic lookout on the way to the Norquay ski field. Whilst up there, we saw a baby mountain goat looking for its mama.
Luckily, she was grazing not too far away. Alrighty, Chicky, what's the plan for today?
So right now we are on a trail called the Fenland Trail. Yep, so we're doing this first thing, and then we're heading over to Lake Louise, where we'll be camping for tonight.
We are winging it today because our plan today was to actually go and do Moraine Lake and do a hike at Moraine Lake, and we didn't realize that you actually have to book a shuttle in now to do Moraine Lake, because 6 years ago when I lived here, you didn't actually have to do that. You could just turn up with the car. So we've booked the shuttle for tomorrow. It was booked out pretty much for all of today. So that's what we'll be doing tomorrow, and today it's a surprise. We'll see. I've got some ideas. But look at the Fenland Trail. It's beautiful. It's a little river that leads out from the Vermilion Lakes and leads into the Bow River. So when I lived here back in 2016, we actually did a float down these little rivers here from the Vermilion Lakes, which is absolutely stunning. It's really picturesque and serene. We saw a whole bunch of beavers, so we're keeping an eye out for beavers as well. So no beavers, but we did find a toad, which may be endangered. We're going to check that out. And also a million mosquitoes. On to our next stop. We're saying goodbye to Banff right now, which is kind of sad. It's bittersweet. We'll be heading up to Lake Louise. Okay, so we are here at Johnston Canyon. We weren't originally planning to do Johnston Canyon because it's actually probably the most famous hike here in the area, at least one of the most populated hikes in Banff National Park. We kind of are here to avoid crowds if we can. You know, this trail comes complete with paved walkway, disability access, which is a bonus if you're disabled, I suppose. Also handrails and things like that too. So it is a very family-friendly orientated hike. A couple of reasons why we decided to throw it in today is one, Miranda obviously hasn't seen it and it's pretty cool. And two is because there is supposedly a secret cave here that I really wanted to check out. And last time I was here, I didn't even know about it. Well, as we just entered, we saw some signs saying that they're restricting access off trail due to an endangered black swift that inhabits the area, which means that we can't actually access the secret cave that I wanted to check out anyway. So you'll have to Google it, I guess, if you want to see it. It's meant to be really, really beautiful. Oh well, still going to check out Johnston Canyon anyway. Look, they've got a market cafe here. Where the side trail is down to the secret cave. $25,000 fine. No thanks. Chicky, that was Johnston Canyon. What did you think?
Very overcrowded.
It's very, very busy.
It was a stressful hike.
Yeah, there's a lot of people here. It's kind of a little bit like a theme park. Honestly, if you want a canyon in the area that isn't so busy, I could highly recommend the Sundance Canyon in Banff itself. Last time I was there, which was a while ago, it was basically empty. So even if it is busier now, I'm sure it's nowhere near what this is.
Yeah, this is crazy.
All right, time to move on.
On the next leg of our journey, beneath the stunning Castle Mountain, we ran into some mechanical issues.
So a bit of an update. Today definitely was a bit of a surprise. We had our car break down, or the Wicked Camper break down. The battery completely went flat, and we were lucky enough to find some people to give us a jump start. And once we got that jump start, we started driving again, and it conked out again. So we had another family come out and give us a jump start. And we kept going and it conked out again, and they gave us another jump start and it conked out again. So long story short, it looks like the alternator's gone. But shout out to Don and his family from Massachusetts. Thank you very much, if you are watching, for getting us here. We're at Baker Creek and we're just waiting for roadside assistance to come. Not sure what they can do at this stage, but it definitely has put a little bit of a bump in our journey, and hopefully we can figure out something to sort this all out, because we've got a lot of big things planned for the next couple of days and we need to get back to Vancouver for our Alaska cruise. So fingers crossed, let's hope that they can sort something out today. So the latest update is that we're looking at about approximately 3 hours until somebody can come out and potentially fix our vehicle. Until then, we're just chilling here in Baker Creek. The ladies here have been very, very accommodating, and it seems like a really, really nice place. So we're going to walk down to the creek itself now and just chill out there for a little bit. Oh, and there is a caution, bear in area. Miranda's got her spray. She's ready. She's already sprayed herself. No, I'm joking. It is not a repellent. You do not wear it like mosquito repellent. After our rest by the river, we spotted the bear lazily grazing upon flowers across the road, seemingly unfazed by the world going by.
Hours later and we are back on the road. Thank goodness. I mean, to be honest, it was a very relaxing 6.5 hours. We were at Baker Creek Resort and they just sort of let us use their Adirondack chairs on the creek, and we were just relaxing and getting some things done, and we saw a black bear, which was really cool.
Probably the closest black bear we've ever seen, or closest bear we've seen in the wild ever.
Closest bear encounter.
Right across the road. We're about to walk down to check up on the car, and then someone pulled into the driveway and said, hey, you better not walk across the road there. There's a black bear right across the road.
And we would have just walked right across the road because that's where we were going. So luckily we got the heads up.
Yeah, so the guy picked us up. He said that he had to completely replace the alternator. He had to replace the battery. He pulled everything out. And he had no service too, so we didn't know what was going on at this stage. We had no idea if we were going to have to stay there, which was $800 a night.
No way we were staying there. We would have slept outside with the bears.
I'm sure if it was in your budget, it's a lovely place. It's absolutely beautiful. But,
yeah, stunning.
Not in our budget, $800 a night. So absolutely awesome experience.
The staff was super accommodating and helpful.
Amazing. Yeah,
and so understanding. So yeah, great time.
Yeah, now we're heading to Lake Louise.
Yeah.
And we're got an early morning tomorrow.
Very early morning. So it's 9 o'clock now. We haven't cooked dinner or anything. So it's going to be a late night and an early morning, but we'll tough it out.
We're off to Moraine Lake at 6:30 a.m.
Yeah.
So better late than never. We couldn't make it during the day, but at least we got a parking spot. Here we are.
There's no one here.
Lake Louise, look at that.
Wow.
Now, I have been here before, probably like 4 times, but it is still pretty spectacular to see every time, and this lighting is stunning. And I was lucky enough in 2013 to stay up here at the Chateau Fairmont as well.
Here bright and early at the Lake Louise ski field to catch the shuttle to go to Lake Moraine. I think we're pretty lucky to have gotten this spot. I believe we got a cancellation, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, so it's 6:15 in the morning. We'll be there we'll leave here about 6:30. That'll get us some of the best light of the day, and also give us ample opportunity to do our hike.
Before leaving the ski field, we spotted 2 large grizzly bears and a cub grazing in the distance.
It's like the one we saw yesterday, isn't it, Chicky? So we are at, where are we? Moraine Lake. Look at this. Look at that. What do you think, Miranda?
Stunning.
Look at that.
Oh my
Worth getting up early for, right?
100,000%.
So this is pretty much the busiest spot in Banff National Park, and there is no one here, and it's a beautiful morning. The lighting is stunning. I've been here 4 times, and this is the earliest I've ever been here, and it's the first time I've come here with pretty much no one. We've got a handful of people down here. Early enough to start our hike, which is concerning if there's no one on the trails because it is bear country, but we did bring our spray and bear bells. We already saw 2 grizzlies this morning. Sets you at ease, doesn't it? Look at that. Okay, so it's 7:30 and we're just starting our hike right now. So this is up to Eiffel Peak, 11.2 kilometers and just under 1,300 meters of elevation. Now, may not be able to get to the top today, but we'll go as high as we can. The reviews that I was reading yesterday on this hike from All Trails, basically saying that no matter how close you get to the peak, the views are spectacular. So we should be able to see all 10 peaks around Moraine Lake. So let's head into the forest. So, I believe that is our peak up there that we're heading up to. God, it seems pretty high from here. We're actually in the Larch Valley right now, and the Larch Valley is famous not only for its larch trees, but for the colours that they produce during the autumn period. So usually late August, probably to mid to late September is usually when people come up here, particularly for the colours of the Larch Valley. Golden, orange colours throughout the valley. It's absolutely spectacular, kind of a photographer's dream. So something I definitely want to come back and see one day. It's a bit sketchy. Hey there! We have reached the snow line, as you can see. In the distance, way up there, is Mount Temple. In between is Sentinel Pass, which is probably the most popular day hike. But we can't actually see anybody hiking up towards there at the moment. So we may actually be the first people in the Larch Valley today. Looking down there, I did Sentinel Pass back in 2016 with Rory and our German friend Misha. This is our path up here, up to Eiffel Peak. Looks like there's a fair bit of snow up on the top, so yeah, we'll see how far we get. Yeah, we don't have crampons or ice picks, so we'll probably just get as far as we can safely and then enjoy the views. Make our way back down.
Sounds good.
Ready, Chicky?
Ready, spaghetti.
Alright, so it looks like we're up to the section of the trail now where it's choose your own adventure. We're pretty much just winging it through this meadow, and then we've got the scramble. Looks deceptively easy, doesn't it? Maybe. Find out when we get on there. Okay, and magically a trail appears, so we are following some cans and we actually have a little bit of a path now. A little bit easier than scrambling our way up as we were doing before, but I'm sure it's going to come to it again at some stage. So the name Moraine Lake comes from a geological term, which is moraine. Basically the path of a glacier, so what we actually see below us down here is truly a moraine. The lake has filled in one of these divots in the valley caused by glacial movement, typically during the last ice age when we had glaciers melting up until about 10,000 years ago. That's when they truly started to disappear, but as they melt, they slide because they melt from the bottom. They scour this landscape and they create the valley floor. That's the shortcut down right there. So we're almost there. This is where the real scrambling begins. So we've actually made it as far as we thought we'd go. You can see Moraine Lake down there in the distance. The path so far looks okay around this big cliff, so we're going to head around the other side, see how the path looks. If there's snow like the person on All Trail said yesterday, we probably won't go much further. But it has been a hot couple of days. Yesterday it was really hot. He even said that the path was partially a cascade. We haven't seen that yet, so we're going to keep going. We're about 3,000 meters right now, which is quite impressive. You can tell the air's starting to get a little thin up here. You have to breathe really, really deep. Isn't that right, Chickie?
Oh yeah.
She's been in solemn contemplation. She's like a Buddhist monk. Oh, this is steep. Crazy. Hold on there, honey. I'm right behind you just because I'm below your feet now. And I don't want you kicking down any rocks. We're being very methodical about this. Yeah, I'm gonna call this. That's pretty damn steep. I don't think we can climb it anymore. Where's Chickie? There she is. Yeah, we're not gonna make it to the top, but we've made it pretty far, and that's a reward in itself. We'll go to the bottom of this steep part, and then we'll chill out and celebrate. On our way back down, we spotted a marmot just off our trail. We were envious of how effortless he made mountain climbing look. As you saw before, it didn't look safe. I think part of the actual path is to cross over the snow and more of a sort of switchback style rather than straight up the way we were going. It was just way too steep. And safety is the most important thing, and to be honest, this is the best view you're gonna get. Look at that. Okay, so we're starting to get hail. If it gets any heavier, then we'll have to stick our jackets on. So we had a little bit of lightning and thunder and some heavier rain, but luckily that's subsided, at least for now. So we're about to cross the river again. Almost back down. It's safety. Miranda is relieved. Cool, so what are we doing next, Chickie? Where are we going?
We are going to Emerald Lake.
We're gonna go to Emerald Lake. We may do Takakawa Falls. I don't even know how to pronounce it. I hope I pronounced it correctly. We'll see how we're doing for time when we get to the bottom. Not too far now. We are in Yoho National Park. We're coming down from the Rockies and it is getting warmer. We can feel it's getting really, really warm. Our original plans were to actually stay here in Yoho National Park for a few days. That was when we were planning back in 2020, and we were actually going to do the Lake O'Hara loop and stay over in Lake O'Hara. Now, Miranda had actually stayed up until 4 o'clock in the morning in New Zealand to actually book us a spot on the Lake O'Hara loop. We got that, but of course 2020 came around and unfortunately, it got cancelled. Yeah, it is an amazing national park. We're at a place called Takakawa Falls, which is some of the highest and most impressive waterfalls in all of Canada. I've been here before. Back in 2016, my friend Max and I stayed at the nearby Whiskey Jack Wilderness Hostel, which I highly recommend, and did the Iceline Trail, which is a beautiful trail that lines glaciers. And this was one of the impressive stops that we did along the way. Glacoer comes from the Cree language, and it means it is magnificent. And it is magnificent. 254 meters high. Let's go feel some spray. All right, you can really feel the force of that one. Woo!
Between Takakawa Falls and Emerald Lake, the Natural Bridge is a great little stopover in Yoho National Park. The drive through the park is nothing short of breathtaking.
Okay, we are at the Jewel of Yoho National Park, or should I say the Emerald of Yoho National Park. Where are we, Miranda?
Emerald Lake.
Emerald Lake. Look at that. So, Emerald Lake, Yoho National Park. That's pretty cool. Coming into dark, we settled at a nearby campsite close to the resort town of Revelstoke.
Alright, so we are on our final day of camper van life in Canada. So we have a long driving day today from Revelstoke to Vancouver. It's probably around 6 hours of driving, and we just come from the mountains and now we're in a semi-arid area, so the landscape's changing quite a bit. And we should arrive later on tonight, maybe around 5:36ish, and then we'll meet up with Shane's friend and maybe see some fireworks.
It was a long day driving with major traffic delays coming into Vancouver, but we were able to get settled in and ready for a big night ahead by dark.
So my friend just invited us down to English Bay to see some fireworks. Our bus pretty much pulled over halfway in the middle of town and said, this is as far as we can take you. All the roads are closed. And there seems to be thousands of people making their way there. So we don't even know what this is about, but apparently the whole region is absolutely packed. We're gonna find out when we get down there what's going on.
We can find your friends.
God, this is crazy. Fireworks exceeded our expectations, with many of us agreeing they were potentially the best fireworks display we had ever seen. My friend Shay gives us a great explanation of what the celebration was for, albeit after a few drinks at the end of this video. Stick around for that if you want to see me embarrassingly intoxicated.
As the night drew to a close, we awaited the grand finale, followed by drinks with Shay and our new friend Boris. The perfect ending to our 3-week campervan road trip in Western Canada. Join us on our next series as we spend an amazing week cruising the world-famous Inside Passage to Alaska, followed by 2 weeks exploring the interior of the northernmost U.S. state, including North America's highest mountain. Follow us for this journey and more with Global Travel Stories.
So this is Shay, And Shay, when did we meet?
In Brazil.
When?
I have no idea.
2014.
You remember?
That's the year.
You remember?
I remember that. So you've been living here since in Canada?
2015.
2015, and I was
2215.
Alright, I lived in Canada in 2016. So like you were here before I was here.
Yeah, like a year before.
Yeah.
And then you came to Canada. Did you like start in Vancouver?
Oh, I started in Banff.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you came to Vancouver and you met Misha and Megan and Shane, Shane.
Yeah, the other Shane.
The other Shane.
What a shame.
There was a massive shame.
There was a lot of confusing conversations where no one knew who was being spoken.
It was like Shay, Shane, Shay, what?
What?
Everyone was turning around at some stage. It was a really interesting time. And what happened tonight? Why did we come out here tonight? You dragged us out here to see some fireworks.
Dragged us out.
Fireworks. Because he obviously really hates fireworks. I could see how much he hated it tonight. We had the Festival of Lights, sponsored by Honda. Hopefully they will pay me some royalties plug. Each country competes, and it was Japan tonight. And we all went down to Sunset Beach, it was pretty cool.
And it was a beautiful sunset. I didn't know that beach was called Sunset Beach, so that was very
Sunset
fitting
Beach.
That's
name
why they
for
had
the
such a
beach.
good sunset.
Name.
You can stop.
I can stop.
Anyway.
I'll use about 10 seconds of that.
Please don't use any. Please don't use any.
I'll use like the part that makes sense.
Can we just get a regular photo and just Photoshop it to make you look
okay.
less
Alright, ready? Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed our content, please like and subscribe.
And we'd love if you could leave us a comment letting us know what you've enjoyed or what you'd like to see more of.
And help us grow our channel. Become part of the Global Travel Stories family by sharing with friends, family, or anyone you think would enjoy our content. Thanks, guys. Alright, this is the last poutine of the trip.
What's your brother up to?